Hey there, folks. How are you? Jet Low with FilmTalk.com. I hope you're doing well. I want to speak very briefly about a film that I saw today. One of the films I saw today on my first day at the Seattle International Film Festival, 419. Now, if you want to avoid spoilers like me, I always, whenever possible, want to see a film cold. I wish I hadn't watched the Prometheus trailer. Damn you, Eric, for convincing me to do that. But if you don't want to know anything about 419, which I would recommend, then stop watching now. Okay, I hope you're gone. For those of us that are still here, 419 is a very solid picture. In fact, I'd like to talk about it on the show, so when my co-host, Professor Dr. Gareth Higgins, gets back from executive directing, is that the word? Being the executive director of the Wild Goose Festival next month, hopefully we can talk about it on the show. 419 is a worthy addition, a very solid addition to that genre of sort of pseudo-documentaries or found footage films. The granddaddy, of course, being the Blair Witch Project. Recently we had Chronicle, which was really well done, fantastic. It would be a good addition to sort of a film festival, if you will, of found footage films. You should include F for Fake, the brilliant Orson Welles picture as well, if you're going to do that. Not saying F for Fake is fake, but it's a fantastic filmic essay that would fit in to a festival of found footage films. In fact, the British Board of Film Classification, sort of the equivalent of the U.S., the MPAA, when they give G and P, G and R, the British Board of Film Classification said about F for Fake. They wrote a letter to Orson Welles saying, we wish we could give this an M for Masterpiece. So, great film, go see it. But anyway, 419 is a really fascinating picture involving a sort of Nigerian email scam. What would happen if someone was email scammed and they went to Africa to get their money back? In a nutshell, it's really a character study about friendship and the friends who help somebody who's scammed go to South Africa and to retrieve their money and what happens. Now, it's a solid film made by a guy who right now is an editor who's working for the History Channel. So it's an interesting film in the sense that you've got someone that's very, very skilled at editing, and now they're directing. And I think something like that, starting with a background in editing, is a huge boon, especially to a film like this when you've got God knows how many hours, 80, 100 hours of footage you have to cut together. The film's really solid with one exception, and this is really, really tough for these kind of found footage pictures, and that is, it's very hard, even for professional actors, it's very hard for people to be themselves or pretend not to act. And I think an example I've given in the show before on the Film Talk, on the podcast, is I was a director of hidden camera shows for the BBC when I lived in London and Belfast, Northern Ireland, for 5 seasons, 5 series of shows. And what I found, even though the shows were real, they weren't fake, they weren't staged, but sometimes after we did a gag, we would want to reshoot something from a different angle, and so we would tell the person we played the gag on, could you just do that again for us for a different angle? And it was very difficult for people because they do what I would call the stage walk. They would try to be themselves, but there's a microsecond delay where they're, trying to be themselves. You can see them thinking, even if it's only for a microsecond, and it can come across as stilted. Some people can't. Most people can't play themselves, and some people, even professionals, are terrible at it. Madonna, for instance, you've seen her try to play herself. It's just awful. And one of the problems with 419 is that you've got a couple actors who are trying to be naturalistic, and it doesn't work. The main one, though, can be fixed. It's an actress who's playing a State Department official, and so it's sort of an interview situation the film constantly cuts back to. And the problem is that her style of acting doesn't work at all. If we're supposed to believe this is a real documentary, supposed to be naturalistic, she comes across as an actor, and it's a problem. But if the filmmakers can scrounge together a couple bucks, I'd recommend, reshoot those scenes and cut them in with somebody else, a different actor or a non-actor. Don't get someone from the State Department, but you go down to your local DMV, right, and get a non-actor, so get a tired bureaucrat and have them do that scene, because unfortunately her style, God bless her, because Lord knows it's tough being an actor, but her the style doesn't cut together at all well, so that's a problem. But listen, that aside, it's a solid, fascinating character portrait, brilliant performance by a guy called Ezra, interesting shots of South Africa, of course, found footage documentary. You go in there now, we got all these small cameras. Looks like they've got flip cams in addition to more professional equipment. So you get some nice street stuff there in South Africa. Definitely worth seeing. Hopefully my co-host Dr. Gareth Higgins can get a chance to see it soon. Okay, that's 419. Keep an eye out for it, folks. It might be coming on VOD. Maybe it'll do the festival circuit. Definitely worth seeing. Some interesting twists and turns. Okay, talk soon.